What happens when you take two parents who have never flown business class before, drop them straight into London during the world's second biggest carnival, and then set them loose on a 5-day walking tour through the English countryside? Welcome to the next chapter of The Three of Us, a series where it's me, Mum and Dad tackling bucket list adventures together. And this time, it's one I've dreamt about for years. A self-guided walking tour through the Cotswolds. Think endless golden fields, thatched cottages, cozy pubs, and hotels so magical, I basically said wow 157 times in the first hour. Over 5 days, we're hiking from village to village, staying in fairy tale inns and eating way too much pub food, all while Active England took care of every detail. Honestly, it's the easiest, dreamiest way to see one of the most beautiful corners of the UK. So lace up your boots, because this one is going to be equal parts magical, awkward, and absolutely unforgettable. Cotswolds, here we come. It all started in London. We'd just flown in business class from Auckland, my parents' very first time. And if you missed that adventure, go back to episode 1, because Air New Zealand's brand new business class seats are chef's kiss. On our last day before heading off to the Cotswolds, we checked into the Hilton Hotel in Paddington, a proper Victorian-style hotel that felt like stepping back in time. My parents loved it so much. We were all genuinely sad we only had one night here. It's firmly on my return-to list whenever I'm back in London. And the best part, it's included in our Active England walking tour. From there, we started making our way toward Hyde Park. But first, food. We were starving, so we popped into a cafe nearby that looked great on Google. It was called Sheila's. What we didn't know is that this would turn into one of those little travel memories that you never forget. The owner was walking around with a little framed photo of their famous full English breakfast, showing it off to every single table. He was even calling in curious people from across the street. He was one of the friendliest men we've ever met.
Hello world, hello New Zealand. Please come and see us. If you come to this cafe, you're joining an 80-year tradition. We welcome the whole world. You are likely to meet people from places that you will never otherwise meet, so come here.
As we left, he shook our hands and said, "Now watch your bags at the carnival." Cue confused looks. Carnival? We said. Turns out, we'd accidentally landed ourselves in the middle of Notting Hill Carnival, the second biggest carnival in the world.
This is hectic! Ronnie! What is this thing? Ronnie! Never been to anything like this before.
I'm gonna go ahead. I'll beat you there. That one right there? Yeah.
Whoa! There's so many people!
Never in a million years did I expect this Cotswolds cute, cozy, low-key, sort of fairy tale, dreamy episode to begin with that. 2 million people attend, and I think it's second only to the big carnival in Rio de Janeiro. It doesn't end. Every single street is just lined with people, horns, heaps and heaps and heaps of policemen everywhere. And a lot of rubbish. It is going to be a massive job to clean up. We carried on to Hyde Park. Cue the lovely B-roll here, where you can do everything from pedal boats to feeding ducks to apparently boxing. Dad was keen. Eventually, we followed the music and colour further and stopped to ask a police officer for directions. He sized us up and said, well, it's this way, but I'm not sure if it's really your scene. So, all of this is part of a tour we booked with Active England, who have so generously hosted us on this trip so we can show it all off to you guys. So when I reached out to them about working together and they said yes, I was thrilled. One of the things I love the most, however, is that they put together a full itinerary for us, including obviously all of our walking, but they include dinner recommendations every night too. As an avid planner and someone who basically spends every day planning planning trips. It was so refreshing not to spend hours Googling where to eat. On this night, we headed to an area called Little Venice. It's a picturesque pocket of London where the canals meet, lined with colourful narrowboats, waterside pubs, and leafy streets. Honestly, it feels like you've stepped into a beautiful painting. Our dinner spot was the Summer House, a restaurant right on the canal. Boats drifting by every few minutes, fairy lights reflecting on the water, and a menu specialising in seafood. It was so pretty, I could literally cry. The food was sensational, and every time a boat went past, Dad kept saying how he'd dreamt of doing something like this for the longest time. Meanwhile, Mum and I were trying not to burst out laughing because we knew what was coming next. Today it officially begins, our Cotswolds walking experience. We caught the train from Paddington Station, literally connected to the hotel, which made it ridiculously easy. That's our hotel right there. We just exited this door and bam, we're in the train station. That was so seamless. Oh my goodness. Okay, better go. Less than 2 hours later, we rolled into Moreton in Marsh, the official starting point of our self-guided tour. We were greeted here by a local guide named Callum who gave us a cheerful briefing about the route ahead.
Gave us a bit of information we might need to know, made sure we knew how to use the app. Super duper easy, by the way. He took all of our suitcases, all of our luggage, and he's going to take it to our hotel where we're going to be staying for the night. Literally all we have to do is bring what we want for the day with us and our bags are taken care of. That's the best part. This is already such a cute town. Look where I'm standing, just in a field in the Cotswolds.
Oh, thank you, sir. From there, the walk would take us through the enchanting Batsford Arboretum and then onto the little village of Blockley for lunch. After that, we'd wind our way past Broadcampton, famous for its thatched cottages, and honey-coloured stone, before finishing the day in Chipping Campden, one of the most iconic market towns in the Cotswolds. On paper, it sounded pretty reasonable. 6 miles, 850 feet of elevation, not too bad, right? But what we didn't realise is that today would end up being the hardest and toughest day of the entire trip. Would you say it's coffee time?
Definitely coffee time.
I reckon we should go for another 2 hours.
That's sarcasm from Dad if you didn't quite catch.
Our first stop was a garden centre cafe where we collapsed gratefully over a round of coffees.
Soy latte stop number 1. Let's see how many of these we end up doing.
From there, we meandered onto the next village and found a cosy little spot for lunch.
I had a goat's cheese sandwich. It was like an open-faced sandwich. Dad had the falafel burger with sweet potato fries, and Mum had the ham hock and chutney sandwich. And yes, now we're back on the road. We are, however, or on the path, I should say.
Each stop felt like a reward for making it through another stretch of countryside. There was something so magical about it. Mile after mile of rolling fields stretched out in every direction, stitched together by some little stone walls and winding lanes. The cottages looked like they'd been pulled straight out of a storybook, with crooked chimneys and roses climbing up the doors. It honestly felt like a dream come true. This was the Cotswolds that has been sitting at the top of my bucket list notes for years. And now I was finally here, walking it with my mum and dad.
We've been going for a couple of hours now. Was this a nice decision to come to trust your daughter with booking this trip and you just kind of showing up?
It was a great decision to come here. I would have never dreamed of doing this myself, but very proud that we're doing it. And it is a real workout, especially going up the hills.
When you go away with Chloe, you're always doing something interesting and something that we're not expecting. It's wonderful. The scenery is just amazing. But we've had lots of breaks, lots of lattes, and we've just had a fantastic lunch. We've had lots of carbs, and now we're halfway and we're going to keep going. So fantastic, lots of fun.
It felt so peaceful, so perfect. I kept catching myself grinning like an absolute idiot. No traffic, no rush, no noise, just birdsong. The crunch of our shoes on the path and the occasional church bell drifting across the fields. By late afternoon though, we were definitely feeling it. The hills, the heat, and the miles were really adding up. But finally, around 5 o'clock, we wandered into Chipping Campden. Tired, sweaty, and grinning our faces off. And oh my goodness, it was worth every single step.
The sound of music.
Oh wow, the Cotswolds are basically like stepping into a postcard. But every postcard needs snacks and caffeine, right? That's where today's sponsor, Saily, comes in real handy. Such a lifesaver. If you don't know what Saily is, it's an eSIM. Awesome eSIM. Made by the creators of NordVPN. So it's seriously cool. And it takes away any need for paying for expensive roaming charges or hunting down dodgy eSIMs at the airport. I just downloaded it once, picked a plan, and boom, I'm ready to go. Saily works in over 190 countries and is way cheaper than roaming. I learned that the hard way, actually. On this trip so far, I've used my eSIM to track down cozy pubs and even video call my little husband back at home, mainly to check in on the cats. If you're keen, you can just scan this QR code, or you can just download the Saily app. Use code Chloe and Ludvig and you're going to get 15% off. Link is also just down there in the description. Thanks so much, Saily. Love ya. As you can see by that wonderful dance in front of the sign, we have made it to Chipping Campden, and this is officially our first overnight stop. Yay, we made it! I am so incredibly proud of my parents. They're super duper fit. But yeah, this is a new kind of challenge. We don't often go for big, long walks like this. When we finally stepped into Chipping Campden, our jaws pretty much hit the cobbled streets. This place is one of the true gems of the Cotswolds. Honey-coloured limestone houses lining a medieval high street, topped with sloping rooftops and centuries of stories hidden in every stone. And then we saw our hotel. I was so darn excited. From the outside, it already looks like something out of a movie, but inside, oh my goodness. The entrance opens up into this incredible sweeping staircase. The kind of staircase you expect to see in a period drama, where someone descends in a ball gown. Every corner was pure elegance. High ceilings, chandeliers, casting warm glow, cozy armchairs that you instantly want to curl up in, and little design details that made it feel both extremely grand but welcoming. And then the best bit, our bags magically appeared in our rooms, like we didn't even have to lift a finger. The most beautiful host, Darren, he carried our big heavy bags, and I'm not joking, mine is very heavy. I'm here for a month though, so that's my excuse. But he carried our big bags all the way up 2 flights of stairs. That is lovely of him. This is luxury, isn't it? The rooms themselves were beautiful. Plush beds, crisp linens, and bathrooms that made me want to move in permanently. Honestly, if this was night one, I started to wonder what on earth else Active England had lined up for us on this trip. Spoiler alert, it's insane. Wow, they have the nicest conditioner, shampoo, body lotion, body wash. Oh my goodness, I'm in heaven. Oh my god, this bed is amazing. Suppose I should get ready for dinner. We dropped our bags, exchanged delirious smiles, and crossed the road to another little gem. A sister hotel with a classic cozy pub serving hearty British dinners. We were exhausted. So much of dinner was spent in near silence, heads nodded, eyes heavy, but oh, the mood. The warmth, the red wine, and just the coziness of sinking into our seats knowing how hard we worked for this meal. Oh, absolute bliss.
And that breakfast this morning blew us away. We were not expecting a breakfast that good. It was so good. Oh my goodness. Good morning and welcome to day 2 of our Cotswolds walking expedition. And today is 7 miles. So slightly longer than yesterday, but it's going to be nice to do a little loop.
The path wound through quiet Cotswold lanes, past stone cottages and flower-filled gardens, and every turn seemed to reveal something even cuter than the last. Honestly, this part of the world feels like it's been designed to just make you smile.
Feeling good. Yesterday was just when we'd finished our walk, we were so worn out. I was so worn out I couldn't stretch, but I did stretch.
Good.
And we had a big pack on our backs yesterday because we had just come off the train. But today we've left all our things in the room because it's really good that we could stay in the same place 2 nights.
So good, right?
Really good, really nice. So all I've got today is my little pack here, and we're set up. We've got our little sweatshirts just in case it gets a little bit colder, but we're good to go, feeling fantastic. But the scenery is magnificent, it's just beautiful, and this part of the world you have to come and you have to see it, because to see it is to believe it.
You heard it, folks. You heard it here first.
It's light. It's lighter than they have than at home in New Zealand.
Really?
Yeah, it's lighter.
How many mums would go on the Cotswolds walk and pick up some person's hay? That's my mum. I mean, that's what her regular everyday life pretty much looks like at home. They live on a lifestyle block with... Do I say lifestyle block?
Lifestyle block.
They live on a lifestyle block. They've got alpacas, mum's got some horses, we've got chickens, dogs, plenty of cats. And they're very, very low maintenance, very low key. So staying in a beautiful place like the Cotswolds House Hotel is so incredibly special for these guys. I can't believe that they get to experience just such high quality hotels, and it's everything that they deserve and more. Love you guys.
Love you, Chloe.
Dad, say it back.
With mental health being at its peak globally at the moment, especially since or triggered by the global lockdowns and COVID, walking the Cotswolds is one of the best solutions I can imagine. Fresh air, the melatonin and vitamin D you get from the beautiful sunny days, and it's just so good for you. Even 15 minutes in the sun is supposed to be extremely good for your mental health.
And it's so extremely peaceful and quiet out here.
Yeah.
This is one of the best trips you could book if you're feeling stressed, anxious, you've got lots on your mind, you live in a busy city. This is just a breath of fresh air, literally.
Wow, well. Welcome to the Hidcote Gardens. This is a world-famous arts and craft inspired garden set against the backdrop of the North Cotswolds Hills. This is beautiful. What a day to be here. All of the colours are just fantastic. So this place is covering an area of 10.5 acres, and the garden takes visitors on a journey through intimate, formal areas, revealing a different atmosphere or a new vista at every turn. Using Hidcote as a blank canvas, Lawrence Johnson designed the gardens in phases from 1907 to 1938. He furnished borders with newly discovered plants and exotic rarities, gathered during plant collecting expeditions that took him around the world. Very cool. In 1948, Lawrence Johnson gifted Hidcote, now a Grade 1 listed garden, to the National Trust, making it the first garden taken on by the National Trust for the purpose of preserving a garden of national importance. There's a garden cafe where you can sit down with coffee and have some food and just soak it all in. After exploring, we made the return leg of our loop back to Chipping Campden. Tired but happy, and so glad we had a second night at the Cotswolds House Hotel. That evening, we followed another dinner recommendation from our Active England itinerary, the 8 Bells Inn, and oh my goodness, it was indulgence in the best way. There's something about a hearty pub meal that just tastes 100 times better after you've earned it by walking all day. The coziness, the red wine, the really old walls and low ceiling, absolute bliss.
One thing I think is really important to do on this, and what we're really trying to do every single day, is do some stretching. Whoa. Otherwise, I feel like you're gonna get really stiff. Today's walk was surprisingly easy compared to yesterday, but then I looked at our itinerary and I did see that yesterday's elevation was 850 feet, whereas today was only 400. So less than half. No wonder yesterday was so hard. Yes, it's 8 o'clock again. And yes, I have my teeth whitening in. I have my face mask on. And I'm ready to hop in bed. But first, a little bit of YouTube, I say.
Our morning started the way every good morning should, with breakfast. One of the best parts of this self-guided tour is that all of our breakfasts were included. Good morning and welcome to day 3. We've just finished up a beautiful breakfast at the Cotswolds House Hotel, and I honestly don't know how any other hotel is going to top that hotel. It was beautiful. But by the looks of it, I've had a little sneak peek at some of the hotels coming up. We've got 2 more in the Cotswolds, and they look just as beautiful, and I feel extremely spoiled. Ooh. Today we have got a 5.4 mile walk, which is not too bad actually, not too bad at all. Basically we're walking from Chipping Campden all the way to Broadway, and we are going to pass by the Broadway Tower. And apparently at the top of this tower we're going to have magnificent views of 16 different counties throughout England and Wales. Very exciting. Every day we have a set amount of miles that the walk is, and I always add on about 0.6 miles for all the mistakes I've been making. What I really love as well with this app is that it does have little coffee symbols where there are cafes along the way, and little camera symbol to show us where there might be a nice point of interest we'd like to take photos of. So it's very handy, especially the cafe symbol, I'd say. This time we were officially on the Cotswold Way. This is a 112-mile trail that stretches all the way from Chipping Campden to Bath. Don't worry, we weren't doing the whole thing. But even a short section makes you feel part of something iconic. Wow, so this walk has turned a little bit bushwalky now. There's a lot of variety in today's walk. We were walking through fields, we were walking through stone walls, and now it's like, wow, this is so beautiful. All the trees are wrapped in this like vine style plant. What's cool is that I can see the Broadway Tower very close up ahead in the distance. I think we're gonna go and get ourselves a coffee first, recaffeinate, and then go up the tower. Another day, another spectacular lunch. We actually ended up sitting in the cafe and having a couple of coffees because it did rain quite heavily outside, as you can see here from these lovely puddles. Luckily, the weather has cleared up. Now we can go and take a look at the tower. And rumour has it, there is also an underground bunker open today. So we can go and buy a ticket. Apparently it's £20 for both the tower and the bunker. And the time we can go and visit the bunker is 2:15. Apparently we have to go and join some sort of a little tour to take a look around inside. So that's going to be very exciting. There we go. Who's excited for the bunker? Yay! Dad's just not excited, is he?
I try and stay at a level playing field with the emotions.
Don't worry, they're used to Ludvig. The path wound its way around our first destination, Broadway Tower. And wow, this was so cool! Perched on top of a hill, this dramatic little Gothic-style tower looks like something out of a fairy tale castle that you play with when you're little. Like a mini one, you know? Not actually this size, but it was actually built in the late 1700s. as a kind of whimsical folly. From the top you get breathtaking views, and on a clear day they say you can see across 16 different counties in England and even into Wales. Standing up there with the countryside rolling out every direction felt like we were on top of the world. Plus the rooms inside were so immaculate. Very cool. And that staircase, oh my goodness, I was obsessed. So cool.
So we just found out that this tower here behind me was actually built in 1798, which is rather old if you ask me. I'd say it's rather on the older side. Wait, no, that just went off course at the end there. It's pretty old. And now we're going to the underground bunker.
Then just go down.
Bye, Dad. He's concentrating.
We were able to go down and actually have a look inside. And honestly, this was such a surreal contrast. One moment you're gazing at the endless peaceful fields, and next you're standing in a crammed little bunker designed for the unthinkable.
Use it if you like, but you have to walk.
We're just walking down from the tower, and literally just ahead of us is Broadway, where we're going to be staying for the night. So it's not even very far at all, just down the hill. Here it is. And I did see on the website that our hotel for the night actually has a gym and a spa.
After climbing back into daylight, we made our way down into the village of Broadway itself, often called the Jewel of the Cotswolds. And it's easy to see why. Its high street is picture perfect, lined with goldstone cottages, boutique shops, and cafes spilling out onto the pavements.
As if these houses couldn't get any more beautiful, I think this town has the most beautiful houses we've seen yet. People's doors to their house are literally right here on the footpath. Right here. I'm literally in heaven. I'm in heaven. You guys absolutely should book this yourselves. I say you have to do it. Look at that. Look at their car park. Oh my gosh. Ludvig, I think I want to move to the Cotswolds.
We strolled along and eventually found ourselves at the Broadway Deli, which is, without exaggeration, one of the cutest cafe grocery store hybrids I've ever seen. And Active England's itinerary does say we should have afternoon tea here, but here's the tragedy. We were way too full to even think about afternoon tea.
So Mum and I were just admiring this insanely fancy building just ahead of us, and we couldn't quite believe how grand it was. And then I just saw the flag flying around, and it's our hotel.
Pretty cool.
It's our hotel, and I can't believe this is our hotel.
And I can't wait to go in and have a look.
I must admit, it does look pretty intriguing.
The Ligon Arms is centuries old, dating back to the 1300s. Over the years, it's hosted kings, generals, and travellers of every kind. But for us, it felt like, oh my gosh, am I going to say this again? Stepping into a storybook. I just can't think of anything else to describe this. The stone walls, the beams, the winding corridors, it was history and coziness all rolled into one. I was absolutely obsessed with all of these little nooks dotted around the place. Like every corner had a new little space to sit and read a book, like a snug chair by a fireplace tucked away, just begging you to curl up with a glass of wine. It was insanely cozy. Ancient in the best way and magical enough that I honestly felt like I'd fallen into a fairy tale. There I go saying fairy tale again, but I just can't think of another word. Even the rooms had names instead of numbers, which somehow made it feel even more special, like we were stepping into staying in a house with real character, not just a hotel.
This might be the fanciest hotel I've ever stayed in. I'm a little bit shocked. I am truly quite shocked. It's not fancy in the you can't relax, you're on edge that you're going to break things, that kind of fancy. It's extremely cozy, warm. We've actually booked in for a 6:15 dinner here at the hotel's restaurant, and don't even get me started on the restaurant. It is so picturesque. It looks like something out of a home and garden magazine. I don't even think the camera's going to do this place justice. It is that beautiful. And do you know what's even more amazing?
I have been left with a fancy champagne. I'm not even embarrassed to say this. I have no idea how to open a bottle of champagne, but I'm sure darn gonna try. Probably the first point of call whilst in this fancy hotel is I should probably have a shower, right? I'm gonna go have a shower in my gigantic bathroom just now.
That evening, we had dinner in the restaurant. Grill by James Martin. I didn't actually know who James Martin was at the time, but apparently he's a pretty famous British chef, so that explains why everything tasted next level delicious. And it was absolutely stunning. Dad said he felt like he'd just walked onto the set of Harry Potter, and he was not wrong. Vaulted ceilings, stone floors, and candlelight everywhere. It was breathtaking. The food completely lived up to the setting as well. I had the pasta puttanesca with capers, chili, basil, and tomatoes. It was perfection. Dad went for the Cornish cod served with English garden peas, cured ham, and braised lettuces. And Mum had a simple salad which she said was exactly what she felt like. Fresh, light, and just right. What a day. What a day. I'm gonna have the best sleep in the world. I actually don't know how I'm going to go back to sharing a bed with Ludvig after this. I've been so spoiled with these gigantic, like super king size beds. I feel like I started this conversation like this, and as I've gone on, my eyes are kind of like this, and I'm struggling to see a little bit. The eyelids are getting heavy, and I should probably say goodnight. Yeah, good night. So yeah, after my very fancy and totally action-packed morning routine, I felt like the kind of person who actually has their life together. Spoiler, I kind of don't. Then it was straight into breakfast at the same restaurant as last night. And oh my goodness, I'll never get sick of this setting. The restaurant is absolutely stunning. We were all still buzzing that we actually got to stay here. It was pretty crazy. I even told my parents on the spot that I'm bringing Ludvig back here next year. I have to show him this place. Also, I'm not sure he'll say cute and wow quite as many times as I did, but I'm still gonna bring him here. Fueled up and just a little reluctant to leave, we set out for today's walk.
I really don't want to leave this hotel.
At 9:30 this morning, right on the dot, just as our itinerary said, we had a taxi waiting for us right outside the hotel. They picked us up and our bags and dropped us off in a place called Naunton. After being dropped off, our taxi man continued on to drop our bags at the next hotel, ready to reunite with us later on. Welcome to day 4. We've just been dropped off at the cutest, quietest little town called Naunton. So we're going to walk about 4.5 miles from here to a place called something Slaughter. Charming, right? Mum and Dad, how are your legs feeling, and are you enjoying all the breakfasts?
Oh, the breakfast is absolutely amazing. Got to have a good breakfast when you're doing all this walking. And funnily enough, I think my legs are getting used to all this walking. The first day, we were worn out, but we're getting used to it.
Yeah, I totally agree. How about you, Father?
I feel better than day one.
Okay, cool. Cool, Dad. He's very brief, just like with Ludvig. But then every now and then he wants to say a cool dad joke on the camera. And then we walked towards Burton on the Water. I just love these little names. Here, we would spend the afternoon and then end the day with a shorter stroll into Lower Slaughter, where we'd be staying for the night. What a walk. Rolling fields, little gates to climb, stone walls to cross. It felt like a patchwork quilt of English countryside laid out for us. We passed stone cottages draped in flowers, so many sheep dotted across meadows and lanes so narrow we had to walk single file. It was the kind of hike where the journey itself was just as charming as the destination. This must be the quietest part of our walk so far. We're just currently walking along a valley or next to a little stream, and it is so quiet you could hear a pin drop. All you can really hear is very faint breeze of the trees and the wind and a few flapping of birds' wings. And that's about all. Oh, this is so peaceful. And now we're just following this most gorgeous little stream. What a picturesque afternoon, or morning I should say. It's not even afternoon yet. By the time we strolled into Burton-on-the-Water, it was clear why they call this the Venice of the Cotswolds. The River Windrush runs right through the middle of the village, with little stone footbridges arching across at every turn. Cafes and tea rooms spilling out onto the riverside, and kids were paddling in the shallow water. Ducks waddled right up to us as if they owned the place. We grabbed coffees, wandered the streets, and just soaked in the atmosphere. Burton is the most visited town in the Cotswolds, and I get it. It's postcard perfect, but it also feels alive and buzzing with so much energy. I convinced my parents to do one thing in particular here in Burton-on-the-Water, and we've come to a model village. I had no idea this was here. I just looked on Google Maps and bam, this was right here on the main street. So it cost £4.75 to come in. In fact, £4.25 for mum and dad who are seniors. They get all the discounts and it looks pretty cute. Oh my God, I'm freaking out a little bit. Let's go and have a little look. This is the only grade 2 listed model village in the UK, and it's a perfect 1/9 scale replica of Burton-on-the-Water itself. It was built in the 1930s and it's ridiculously detailed. Tiny houses, miniature gardens and little bridges, even a model of the model village inside the model village. I was completely obsessed. My goodness, there's a tiny little restaurant with teeny little menus on the window. Walking through felt like being a giant in a toy world, and I think I spent about half an hour squealing over the tiny doorways, tiny windows and little books in the shops. Oh, it's the quirkiest, most wonderful attraction, and if you come to Burton, you cannot miss this. Wow, it says this model of Burton-on-the-Water was conceived and planned in 1936. It was built of Cotswold stone to a 1/9 scale. The model was opened on Coronation Day 1937 and completed in 1940. Well, Burton-on-the-Water was definitely the most busy town we've been to yet on this trip. A lot of kids, a lot of dogs, a lot of people in general. So I definitely think we've preferred the quieter places, but I can definitely see why that is a very busy place. It's beautiful, and obviously it's right on the water. It's known as the Venice of the Cotswolds, they say. Most visited and popular part of the Cotswolds. Unfortunately, lunch wasn't that great. We went to what looked like a really cute little tea room, but they were kind of out of a whole bunch of stuff because they were really busy. They got our order wrong. They weren't willing to be flexible and just not super great service. Well, the good news is that that's the only bad meal we've had. Everything else has been spectacular and has blown us away. So there's bound to be something a little more average, you know? Can't always have an amazing meal, or maybe you can. Maybe you can. We're now walking to Lower Slaughter. We're very curious about why it's called Lower Slaughter. After Lower Slaughter we go. Apparently we're staying at the Slaughter Country Inn, which sounds absolutely charming, doesn't it? I'm sure it's lovely. Thus far the hotels have literally left me speechless, so I'm sure this one is going to be just as beautiful. After leaving Burton-on-the-Water, we had just one last little trek ahead, about 1.5 miles to go. And you wouldn't know it, this was the moment we got rained on for the very first time. Oh no! Luckily, we prepared and packed our rain jackets, so it wasn't too dramatic. And honestly, even though walking in the rain isn't always ideal, I couldn't help but feel like it added to the magic a little bit, you know? As we got closer to Lower Slaughter, the drizzle made the golden stone glow even warmer, and the whole village looked straight out of a movie set. If anything, it felt even more cinematic in the rain. I'm just such a positive gal, aren't I? But truly, it did. And then, our home for the night, the Slaughter's Country Inn. Yet another absolute showstopper. This place was beautiful. Like the perfect balance of old world charm and modern comfort. Walking inside, after being caught in the rain, we felt so spoiled. Like we were in some kind of luxury pilgrimage where the reward each night was an even dreamier hotel than the last. This just felt like the craziest life right now. And the rooms here were so cozy. The atmosphere was welcoming and it felt like the kind of place you'd want to stay just a few days to unwind. Honestly, Honestly, we kept on looking at each other like, how did we get this lucky?
Do you know what? I think I'm gonna have a bath. I think I'm gonna do it. I don't know when I last had a bath.
How do we like this outfit? I feel as though I am very fit for the slaughter country inn. Also, I don't want to go home. I want to continuously stay in these insanely cozy, beautiful, luxurious hotels every single night of my life to come. That would be amazing, thank you. And this is our last night. We're very, very sad, but we're gonna have dinner in the restaurant here at the hotel and celebrate the amazing week that has been before we move on to our next adventure tomorrow. That evening, we finished the day in the inn's dining room with another incredible meal. Mum and I both went for the classic fish and chip because when you're in England, you've got to make the most of the pub food. Am I right? Meanwhile, Dad went for a hearty sweet potato and lentil dal, which was equally delicious. It was the perfect ending, warm food, good wine, rain outside, and us tucked away in one of the coziest inns in the Cotswolds.
Today we did have a 3-mile additional or optional walk that we could do, but the clouds are super dark and grey, and yeah, I don't think we're gonna go out and do this optional walk.
Day 5 began the way I wish every day of my entire life could begin, with yet another incredible hotel breakfast and being waited on. Honestly, we were starting to get a little bit spoiled. The fact that breakfast was included at every stop had been such a dream. It's just one less thing to plan, and every single one has been delicious. Eggs, pastries, coffee on tap. We were already joking about how much we'd miss this part of the trip once we were back to real life. Are you kidding me? How on earth is this place real and not just from a fairy tale storybook? And luckily the weather has cleared up just a teeny weeny bit. Oh my gosh, what? There is such a cool car going past right now. Lower Slaughter was unbelievably peaceful. The kind of village where the only sounds are birdsong, the river trickling under its stone bridges, and the occasional clip-clap of someone's dog trotting along the lane. One of the highlights here is the Old Mill, a 19th century water mill sitting right on the River Eye. It's beautifully preserved with its big wheels still in place. And then, as if it couldn't get any cuter, we spotted a little coffee truck parked up right outside. You already know I made a beeline for it. There's just something about sipping coffee in a tiny fairy tale village that makes it taste even better.
So it looks like, much like Burton on the Water, this little town has a cute little stream, or almost like more of a river, going through the centre. And I have already picked out my absolute favourite house in this whole town, and it's that one just across from the stream. Look, that one. How is this scene real? This feels like it should be a painting, but I'm standing here staring at it with my eyeballs, and it's real life. I think this might be my favourite town yet. And I know at this point you're just not believing me, you're not believing anything I say, but I just cannot choose. In fact, I'm not going to choose, they're all so cute. This one particularly because it's the quietest we've been to, I think. It's very serene, very peaceful. There's only a few humans wandering the streets. I truly don't want this self-guided tour to end. I want to stay here. I want to live in the Cotswolds.
And just like that, our Cotswolds walking adventure came to an end. Each day, our hikes ranged between 3.5 to 7 miles, with plenty of rolling hills and little bursts of elevation along the way. Enough to feel like we'd earned our pub dinners, but never so much that it stopped being enjoyable. And of course, there was always plenty of time built in for a latte stop, because priorities, right? One of the things we loved most about doing this trip with Active England was just how easy everything felt. Every morning, our bags were whisked away and transferred to the next hotel. We never had to think about logistics. We just walked, explored, and then arrived at the next dreamy spot where our luggage was magically waiting in our rooms. And the hotels! Oh my goodness, the hotels. I will never get over the hotels. Active England clearly put so much thought into curating their collection. Each one was just so stunning in its own way. Historic, charming, and yes, I'm gonna have to say it again, like something out of a fairy tale. I know, I feel like I've used that word during this whole video, but if there's ever a time that it's relevant, it's here in the Cotswolds, therefore here in this video. The whole experience felt beautifully crafted. Every route, every stop, every dinner recommendation. It was seamless. And as someone who spends hours planning trips down to the last detail, it was such a luxury to just let go and follow the itinerary, knowing we were always in for something amazing. What's also really cool about Active England is just how flexible they are. You can choose a guided or a self-guided trip, both hiking and cycling, and you can even tailor the accommodation to your style, from more budget-friendly inns to more premium luxury stays. It means whatever your travel style or fitness level, there's an option that feels like it's been designed just for you. As I mentioned, I was kindly hosted by Active England so that I could show this to you guys, because I thought you would honestly really love it, because I love it so much. But I can say I would book with them again in a heartbeat. In fact, I've already decided that next year Ludvig and I are going to do another one of these trips, but we're thinking maybe a cycling tour this time. So if you're planning to come to the UK, or maybe you live here and you want to try something new, beautiful and completely unforgettable, I cannot recommend this enough. I'll leave their link in the description below so you can check it out for yourself if you fancy. Next up on the Three of Us series, we're surprising Dad with something very new. We're taking him onto the River Thames in a little riverboat. And guess who's driving? Yep, my dad. Okay, bye.